will Senator Risa Ontiveros stand with in the 20th Congress? That's the big question being raised now after Senator Jinggoy Estrada suggested that returning Senators Bam Aquino and Francis Kiko Pangilinan have joined the majority. Estrada said this during an interview on DWIZ on Saturday, adding that senators have to be in the majority if they want to get plum committee chairmanships. Ontiveros and her political group, Akbayan Party List, campaigned for Aquino and Pangilinan in the May midterm elections. They are all seen as stalwarts of the Liberal Party as well. But Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri, for one, says he heard Ontiveros may now be on her own. He also said that the so-called veteran bloc composed of himself, Senators Tito Soto, Ping Lacson, and Loren Legarda would welcome Ontiveros joining them.
Naawa nga ako kay Senator Risa. Naawa talaga ako sa kanya. Alam mo, kampanya siya para sa kanya mga kandidato. Tapos sabi niya, gagawa siya ng sarili niyang bloke, na independent block. And, na yun, mag-isa na lang siya.
Oh, nasa
Kaya I heard na mag-isa na lang siya. I cannot confirm nor deny this. But,
willing niyong i-adapt, sir?
of course, she's most welcome to join us. Although we have a divergent I'd say, position on some issues. Kasi of course, she's more on the left side. We're more on the conservative side. Many of you know I'm a conservative.
But former Senate President Frank Drilon was more conservative in his assessment. He spoke to us earlier on StoryCon, and Drilon said if both Pangilinan and Aquino do vote for Cheese Escudero to remain Senate President, that doesn't mean that they've changed direction or that they've turned their backs on the Liberal Party.
I don't think they have changed directions. Bam campaigned on the platform of education. Kiko campaigned on the platform of food security. That's precisely what they are pursuing by getting into the majority bloc to head the committees which on which they stood as an issue when they were campaigning. It doesn't mean that that if Bam and Kiko have chairmanships, they are not in the opposition.
So let's try to make sense of these. We have with us tonight former Senate President, Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri. Welcome to the big story, Senator. Thanks for joining us. We've been trying to get you for a while.
Yeah, sorry. Usually the time that you're on, I'm either with my children or I'm in the province in Mindanao. But yes, nice to see all of you, Sean, Pauline, and Regina. And to all that are watching, magandang gabi po, mayang gabi sa tanan.
Thank you, Senator. So much, okay, let's tackle online gambling first before we talk about the Senate. So you filed a bill to ban online gambling, and today Senator Risa Ontiveros also filed a separate bill, and she's suggesting that the ban be relegated to the access to online gaming in e-wallets. So in any case, with your bill, you've talked at length about it, but I'm just wondering, how far, do you have the support for this, do you think? And also, why only now? Because online gambling has been around for a while.
You know, I'll tell you first, guys, the outpouring of support has been immense. Ang aking Facebook has been flooded with support from so many sectors, especially the OFWs. Kasi maraming OFW families affected dito, guys. No? Yung kanilang kita na pinapadala dito sa Pilipinas, nagtataka sila, bakit palaging kulang? At nalaman pala nila na nauubos na kanilang mga kamag-anak dyan sa mga buwisit na online gambling na yan. And you know, several sectors, when I came out with this, this was really, this is probably one of the only measures that I've had that had come out with this type of support from so many sectors. As a matter of fact, today I had a meeting with the media of the Senate. I treated them for lunch. Each one of us had a story to tell na kung saan yung kasambahay nalulong sa online gambling, nagnakaw sa kanilang tahanan. Yung isa, yung kusinero ng kanilang shop, dahil nga nalulong din sa online gambling, ay kinuha yung tip box at ngayon hiyang-hiya, they had to resign. I mentioned in my press briefing, which came from my mayor in Kibawe, Bukidnon, Mayor Jimboy, and he told me that merong 16-year-old na bata na nagbigti, no? Nag-suicide. He hanged himself dahil nga ginamit niya yung pera ng nanay at tatay na savings na less than 200 pesos lamang dahil nahiya po siya sa magulang, varsity player man lang doon sa local university, yung local school namin, nagpakamatay. These are stories. These are actual newspaper. I have hundreds of this with me now. This is about a Cebu City shooting. Man kills neighbor over online game scatter. This one, scatter forces a man to steal cash from a store in Mandaue. I have so many of this. I have stacks of newspaper articles that have been flooding the internet and flooding my office since the start that I came out with this stand to ban online gambling.
Yeah.
So the social costs are tremendous. Talagang napakalaki ng social cost nito. And maybe nagising po ako, to be honest, nagising po ako dahil sabi ko nga sa isang interview kanina, I was in my farm in Bukidnon and I was wondering why my agricultural workers, the workers in the farms, was actually playing with their phones. Nakaupo lang sila sa ilalim ng kahoy, ng punong kahoy. Naglalaro sila. Sabi ko, ano yan? And then when I looked, I said, oh, but parang roulette wheel yan. May roulette, I don't know, I don't play these games. So may roulette wheel na gumagalaw.
Yeah.
Yung isa naman parang slot machine. Sabi ko, ano yan? Ay, boss, ano yan? Scatter. Tsaka, sabi ko, magkano ang pusta nyo dyan? Pwede piso, pwede 5 piso.
Yeah.
But iniisip ko, I put in my mind, guys, these are agricultural minimum wage earners. So, they're not earning that much to be able to spend all this kind of money on gambling, which they told me they don't win anyway. So,
Yeah.
Senator, maraming nag-file ng similar bills in various degrees and win, partial ban, stricter regulation. As Regina mentioned, Senator Riza also. Are you guys open to talking about this, maybe consolidating everything para mas malakas talaga, no? And para you can gain solid support as a group?
yes, actually, ganyan talaga mangyayari dyan, guys. No? Sean and Regina and Pauline, what we're going to do is basically have the committee hearings. We'll have an investigation in aid of legislation. We will call all sectors involved. And eventually, ang mangyayari dyan, magkakaroon kami ng compromise measure. I'm on the extreme side. No, I'm on the extreme side. Mine is total banning. Why? Because we tried regulations na sa POGO. Yung PAGCOR, yan ang lumang tugtugin na. Pasensya na lang, Mr. Altenco, no? He's a good friend of my father's, matagal ko ng kaibigan yan. Pero yan ang tugtugin na ng PAGCOR against Isabong na okay lang, i-regulate natin. What happened? Nako, Diyos ko po. Hindi lang na-regulate, nagwala, ang dami pang namatay na mga sabongero. Ngayon, ganun din nangyari sa POGO. We said, that was the time of Mr. Tenko. Sabi niya, no, we'll regulate. Let us regulate. He even talked to the president. At that time, I was Senate President. He talked to the president and he said, we'll just regulate it. What had happened? We even passed a law taxing them. Taxation. Kaya even taxation is useless. Because even if we tax them, ang nangyari, lumala ang sitwasyon nung sa POGO, ang daming human trafficking cases, ang daming illegal na POGO operators, nothing happened. We were at a loss. So every time we closed a POGO operator, may bumukas na naman ng 10 all around the Philippines. But now, because of the ban, if you notice, ang tao mismo na yon ang nagsusumbong. Kaya hindi talaga sila makakalusot. If you see like 30, 40, 50 Chinese in one compound, automatic yan. Pupunta ng pulis, ng barangay captain, mahuhuli sila.
Yeah.
Because there's a total ban.
Actually, that's what I was going to point out, Senator. No, in 2021, the Senate voted to tax POGOs instead. This was under President Duterte, and that was under your leadership. So I was wondering as well, bakit po
I was a majority leader. I was not the Senate President.
Correct.
You were Senate President.
I apologize
I was the
for that.
majority leader.
So,
And I'll be honest with you, it was a mistake. It was an absolute mistake.
yun na nga eh.
That's why we, sometimes we make mistakes in legislation. We look back and we regret it. And I regret passing that POGO regulation bill, to tax them and to regulate them further. That's why now we're going to make another mistake. If you ask me, it's going to be a mistake. Why? How can you regulate? Just banning the posters and the ads? The PAGCOR chairman came out saying that, we're going to meet with the ad board and we're going to get rid of all the posters. You don't need that. It's social media. It's in your phone. You don't need anymore any posters or ads in radio, TV, or what have you.
Yes.
Nandiyan na yan eh. Automatic na yan. Lalo na pag ano ka, meron kang e-wallet. If you have a GCash, you have a Paymaya and all the other e-wallets, automatic yan. They offer it. It pops up on your phone that we have this app. Why don't you try it? And then there's of course, may mga artista doon na nagpapaganda at nagpapakyut na maganda ito, masaya ito. Masaya ba pag ikaw minimum wage earner, inubos mo yung matrikula ng inyong anak? That's why the social ills are terrible, guys. Terrible.
So you don't want to make the same mistake as you did with Pogo. But how far are you willing to go? Because as you already mentioned, you're going to come up against powerful interests here. Maraming politicians that are friends. And I think you yourself might have some friends in this industry. And of course, marami din celebrities who are endorsers of online gambling. How far are you prepared to go?
As far as it takes, guys. As far as myself being voted out, it's possible that I can be voted out. And, you know, it is a deliberative body. They will eventually put it on a vote. These powerful, influential people, maglalabi yan. For sure, they'll lobby. They'll invite them for dinners, for lunches, and of course, they will wine and dine them, offer them the sun, moon, and the stars. But I am going to fight this all the way. This is going to be my advocacy till my last days in the Senate. I'm only until 2028. If I can make this my legacy, the legacy for the Filipino people, let's do it.
Okay, but
I am heartwarmed, or I am so honored by the outpouring of support that they've been giving me, and they've been telling me, sana wag po kayo mag-iba ng inyong advokasya dahil ang daming pamilya nasira at nawasak dito. It's not enough that we're making 50 billion a year on these guys. I'll tell you what. I was in the province last week. Kausap ko yung mga mall operators doon, yung mga Gaisano, Ororama, the local ones, not the SMs. I don't know, I haven't spoken to SM yet, or Ayala malls and all these high-end malls. Ang sabi sa akin ng mga local operators doon sa probinsya at sa Cagayan de Oro sa Bukidnon, bumaba yung foot traffic nila at bumaba yung sales nila. Initially, akala nila because of online selling. But you know, in the province, guys, mahina yung online selling doon because ang lalayo ng mga bahay. You're talking about, you know, kilometers away from each other. So, ang sabi, and then the conclusion was, after the dinner, was it's possibly because nawala na po yung spending power, yung what you call, yung disposable income ng ating mga kababayan dahil napunta na dyan sa online gaming. Imbis na madala nila ang kanilang pamilya ng Sabado o Linggo sa Jollibee, naubos na ng padre de pamilya sa paglaro nitong mga iba't ibang games, online gambling sa kanilang cellphone. And that's a fact. And if I'm going to ask this during the hearings, I'm going to ask the Mall Operators Association to let me know, matamlay ba? Because ang balita ay matamlay. Consumer spending is down. And when consumer spending is down, ladies and gentlemen, bagsak ang ating ekonomiya. Why? Unfortunately, our biggest mover for GDP growth is actually consumer spending.
Right.
Not manufacturing, not tourism. As a matter of fact, bagsak yung tourism natin na yun. Ang exports natin, napakababa. Malit lang yung foreign direct investment.
Yeah.
Yung OFW funds going to the Philippines, pumupunta sa iba't ibang tahanan, na pumupunta sa mall at namimili po ng gamit, namimili po ng pagkain, yan ang backbone ng ating ekonomiya. Now,
Senator,
pag maubos yan sa sugal, patay ang ekonomiya.
yes. But Senator, I wanted to ask, what safeguards are there to prevent people from resorting to underground illegal platforms? Because a total ban could lead to that. And that's the reason actually why countries like Germany, Sweden, and Singapore have shifted from prohibition to regulation.
Very simple. Just cut off all the e-wallets. It's the accessibility, guys. It's the accessibility. I don't have the app, but we tried it yesterday before my press con. And in 1 minute, if you have the app, you can put the app in 1 minute, and in 1 minute you can be online on all these games. So it's the accessibility. If you take out all the e-wallets and credit cards, patay na rin yan. Who are they gonna sell to? I mean, that means you have to go to a store and get like a card, like a bingo card and play that way, siguro, pwede natin gawin yun. But that will kill the industry. This stopping the e-wallets, I'll tell you, kasi magaling ang Pilipino makalusot, guys. No? I hope you forgive me for my passion. I'm just very passionate about this because ayoko sana na bansa natin number one gambling capital na tayo. It's here. I'll show you. We are now the number one gambling capital of the world, of Asia, and I'm not lying. We have the most number of casinos.
No,
I'm trying to look for
I
the
believe
believe
you,
you,
Senator.
Senator.
Back a few years
We're the
ago.
number one gambling capital.
Oo.
Is that the direction that we want to do now? Remember that Pogo was providing gambling to China, not Filipinos, ha?
Yes.
Yun nangyari dito, yung mga sindikato nagpapatayan, nagkikidnapping, and yung pagsispiya. They were spying on us. Kaya natanggal yan. Ito na yun ay onshore gaming. Kababayan po natin naglalaro. Hindi China, hindi pang bansa. Kaya ito, the biggest gambling nations in the world. We are number one, no? So,
Senator?
my point is that the direction we want for our people in the next 3 years? Tell me how that will develop us as a nation.
Yeah.
Yes, we will get 100 billion. So what? The social cost of the hundreds of billions. So yan ang mahirap dyan. I can't seem to fathom why they don't see it. Sana naman pumunta din sila sa Facebook. Siguro si Chairman Altenco, baka kailangan niya maglagay ng Facebook at siguro mag-open forum siya dyan.
I'm sure meron siyang Facebook, Senator naman.
Okay. Sen, lipat tayo, no? I'm going to read something. This is a message that you sent earlier in the day. This is about, of course, other Senate issues. So I'm going to read, quote, "On the issue of what I said yesterday about the trial being a witch hunt, here is my direct and final answer," and you can use this quote. "It does not matter what my personal opinion is, whether she is guilty or not." That's referring to VP Sara. "What matters is that the constitutional process continues and the trial begins, period." End quote. Would you like
That's
to add
correct.
anything?
No, that's correct, Sean. It's a lie to say that my colleagues have not made decisions up in their minds. It's a political exercise. We're all politicians, although we must try to remain neutral. We must try to remain non-biased or impartial. But look what happened to CJ Corona. CJ Corona was failed from the beginning because Malacanang at that time really wanted to replace him with their own candidate. So they really went to call person to person and lobbied. That's a true story. And you can ask some of my colleagues who may be willing to answer that. At my stage in life, guys, I'm going to be part of the minority. I think I will be candid and frank in all my discussions now. So my point is, many of them have made up their mind already. But we cannot stop the process. The process is sacred. I'm sorry to say, but the process is sacred. Meaning, if there is an impeachment coming from the House of Representatives, we are duty-bound by the Constitution to hear it. I gave a case in point yung nangyari sa year 2000 under then-President Estrada. I was part of the group Spice Boys. I don't know if you were still
I
young
remember.
enough to remember that. We were the group that got the 77 signatures. We went house to house together with Mike Defensor, Ace Barbers, Nonoy Anday, God rest his soul, and many others. We
Senator,
got the signatures. Yes.
Senator, is the reason why you're saying this because you get a sense na it's heading towards a dismissal?
Well, the people are worried about that. People, and they're rightfully so. They have to be worried about that. But when the time comes, when the decision will be made on the floor, and we will have to vote whether it is to dismiss it or to continue, let us remember precedents. I want to just say this, kasi yung nangyari dun sa year 2000, there's only been 2 impeachment cases that are successful impeachment cases in this Constitution. The first one was with Erap Estrada, with former President Erap Estrada, with due respect. Ang nangyari pa, binasa ni Senator, well, he was Speaker then, Manny Villar. He read his prayer and then diretso na siya sa articles of impeachment. He didn't even wait for a motion from the floor because he knew marami pang alikaalyado si Presidente sa floor. Now, he sent it directly to the Senate. What did the Senate do, guys? The Senate heard it, accepted it, and heard it without question. They could have dismissed it and said that was not proper procedure because it was a prayer that led to the impeachment proceedings or impeachment readings in the House of Representatives. Do you get my point? Meaning, the process is sacred. Pagdating na doon, pagdating na sa Senado, wala na tayong magagawa, lilitisin natin yan. And in the end,
Yeah.
you vote on your conscience. You vote
Yeah.
on how you feel it should be voted on, whether to impeach or to acquit.
Yeah. So
That's it. It's as simple as that.
So can I just confirm, Senator Migs, that the plan when the 20th Congress opens is to vote on the motion to dismiss? Tama po ba? Because we haven't gotten
There will be a plan. There
definitive
will be
confirmation
I
at this
think-
point.
I'm not part of that group. As you know, I am a slap soil. Ano yung slap soil? Hampas lupa. So ano lang kami lang ni Senator Loren, grupo namin na nakakaalam sa mga galaw namin. We don't know what the movement of the other side will be. I don't know if there were political considerations being made. But my point is I think there will be a motion that will be to dismiss it. But with due respect to my allies, my colleagues, my fellow Mindanaoans, I must respect the institution and I must respect the constitutional mandate of the impeachment process. Why? This is to protect each and every one of us. One day, malay mo, baka naman si President Marcos yung impeach. Tapos, yung grupo naman ni President Marcos sa Senado will say, dismiss. And then ito naman grupo ni Duterte sasabihin nila, why will you dismiss it? Do not dismiss it. So, the rules are there for one reason. Without fear or favor, it is blind. We have to be able to follow these rules and procedures for anyone, whoever is being tried in an impeachment court.
Last question. We're being told to wrap, but just yes or no, Senator. Sabi mo, most of the senator
Yes.
judges have made up their minds at this point, even without seeing the evidence. You called this a witch hunt. Do I take to mean that you've already made up your mind as well?
No, I said in my statement yesterday, I'm open to seeing the evidence, but they should present it properly. They should prove to me that she did not benefit from these funds because, like any court of law, they are guilty beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So let's hope that they can prove beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay. Sabi ko, yes or no lang, Senator. It's okay.
Mahirap naman yung yes
this
or no.
needs to be
Sa
a long...
politika, mahirap ang yes or no.
This needs to be a longer
Bitin, Sen.
conversation, so we do hope to have you on again, if not on The Big Story in other shows. Thank you so much for your time tonight, former Senate President, Senator Migs Zubiri.